Hey, what's up guys? Thanks so much for checking out the video. Today we're going to be talking all about rooftop tents. And I think this video is going to be of value to you guys because I've had the luxury of experiencing 5 other rooftop tents before this. I'm not just here on this video to plug a brand or whatever and tell you it's the best thing ever. Again, I've just lived pros and cons of all these other tents, ranging from different styles of how they open to different brands and things like that. So really just going to show you why I landed on the Alucab Gen 3R. There's so many pros going for it. It's still by far my favorite tent. I've had it for about a year now. And anyway, just want to walk you guys through this tent. And if you're on the market for a tent, maybe this video will help you consider some things that you may not have thought of before. Okay, let's do it. I mean, dude, look how pretty it is right now. Just kind of quit raining. So good. All right, let's do it. All right, guys, before I talk about the current tent right now, I want to explain the other 5 that I've used before. And I'll try to put some pictures of the setup I used to have. So, I mean, look at this thing. Look at the shot. I mean, what a good day. Look at that. Bluffs in the background. The very first tent I had was a front runner. I don't even know the name, man. It was just a front runner, like folding style tent. When rooftop tents entered the market, it was only this style. And I'm talking like it's pretty much a square platform. It's got a cover on it and it just folds open and you climb in it. The setup takes a long time. The packing down takes a long time. But at the time when it came out, that was the coolest thing ever, right? But slowly as these tents have came out and more engineering has gone into them, they've became quicker to deploy, quicker to close up and everything. They've become lighter. Bunch of features. Anyway, this one has all those, dude. It's so sweet. And just want to be transparent, like I paid full price for this tent. No one's telling me to make this video. I just want this channel to provide value to you guys. I don't really care. I'm not trying to make money or anything on this channel. It's just a passion project. The main drawback on that was it just took forever to set up and to close back down. And also you couldn't put any bedding in there as well. They had some tents where you could do that, but this one you couldn't. So man, it just felt like a chore. It easily took maybe 10 minutes to set up. And I know that didn't sound like a lot, but might as well just set up a tent on the ground for 10 minutes, you know, and not have it up there on your truck full time. Also, like those tents right now on the market are by far the cheapest. So if you do want to get into it relatively cheap, that's the only really way you're going to do it. As far as a new tent, if you get a used one, maybe a clamshell, I highly suggest that. But that's what people are going to do, is they're going to get a brand new tent. That's that folding style. They'll probably hate it after a while. First couple trips are okay, but then you're just like, oh man, this thing's a chore. So I ditched that just because it was annoying. But I did use it for a while, a good year and a half, maybe even 2 years, man. I used it quite a bit. Okay, and then speaking of that first tent, when I first joined with Backwoods, we actually decided to make our own rooftop tents for a little while. I think we made like 20 or 30 or something like that. And I actually got to design one of the tents, and it was that fold out style. Basically, I took the learnings from that front runner one, tweaked some things, made it better, and we sold some, and then we just kind of gave up just because the tent market was super saturated. So anyway, we did make one proto that was a hard shell tent, and this one was actually pretty cool because it was a hard shell that went straight up, like a pop-up straight up. Most of the hard shells you'll see are long and they open like a clam, like a wedge style tent is what they call them, like a clamshell. That pop-up was really cool because it went straight up, so you got a ton more room inside. You know, with the clamshell, it's a triangle, so you lose a bunch of headroom and stuff. That tent was cool. It didn't look super cool. It looked like a Yakima, like big old cargo box up there. You could put a little bit of bedding in there, which is really nice, but it just didn't feel like super premium, like obviously because it was a prototype. But basically what I'm saying is I got to experience a pop-up style tent. And for the room, I loved that. That was great. But it just didn't have the nice amenities like a lot of these newer ones do. And I don't know, just wasn't feeling that. And we didn't even go into production with it anyway. So that kind of died. But I did have experience for about 6 months in a hard shell pop-up. Now, from that tent, I went to a GFC super light tent, and this is when they first came out. And I gotta sub hands because my hands are getting tired. And this tent was super cool because it stripped all the nonsense out of it, and it was super basic on purpose, and I actually really liked that. It was like 80 something pounds and super thin, maybe 6 inches thin, and it was a hard style tent, a wedge clamshell tent, but it didn't have any struts in it. It was very mechanical and bare bones, again, which I kind of liked. It was very minimal for what it was, for how it was marketed. It was super cool. But man, for super cold winter nights, it's not awesome. I mean, it's more of a like 2-season, maybe 3-season tent in my experience. So that one was cool, but I wanted something just more comfortable, more substantial. I felt like in bad weather it was just going to get shredded just because it's all cloth. All the outside is cloth and everything. So man, if you're like, I don't know, in somewhere where there's a fair climate all the time, that would have been a sweet tent. But I just needed something a little bit more burly and a little better. So speaking of GFC, I sold that and I actually got a GFC camper. Now, I'm just going to be comparing the tent. I'm not going to be comparing the camper because the camper, dude, is a whole other level of sweet. Like, I do have the flatbed and the sweet setup, but sometimes I do wish I had a camper, which always want what you don't have, right? But the ability to stand up in a camper and change your clothes and like hunker down and like camp inside something is just a luxury I didn't realize I loved so much. Otherwise, I got to do what I'm doing now and stand outside and get by this fire and stuff, which is fine, but it's just different. Anyway, let's talk about the tent. So the tent on top of the GFC is basically the exact same tent as the GFC tents. That one addressed all the concerns I had of the Superlight, which it was more burly. It looked incredible from the outside. I think it's the best looking rooftop tent on the market still. It looks beautiful. It still didn't have a bunch of accessories, like mounting awnings and stuff on the side was a little bit challenging. I had always liked the Alucab awnings, and I mounted an Alucab awning onto the GFC, and it worked, but it was always a little bit sketchy just because that awning's a little bit heavy, and it's a 270 freestanding, and blah, 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 blah. But the GFC was sweet, and what I didn't like is it wasn't protected from, like, the sunlight. Like, when you woke up, when the sun's up, you're up, because it is daytime in that thing. You can fix that, of course, but I'm kind of getting in the weeds here. That tent was great. It just wasn't very comfortable also. I added a second memory foam mattress to it, and really the big drawback there was you couldn't put any bedding inside. And like I mentioned at the very beginning with that original fold-out tent, you couldn't put any bedding in there, but it also just in of itself took a long time to set up. While the GFC didn't take any time to set up, you still had to set up your bedding by throwing your pillows and stuff up there. And then, you know, if your bedding's not in the tent, it's in your truck somewhere. I mean, a pillow's huge. 2 pillows if you're, have your wife or something up there. Your sleeping bags, like, that's big, and it's all rolled up, and like, that's just annoying to have to set that up. So after doing all those things, I was just like, I need something that, like, there's no setup. Like, I just get out of my truck and I have my tent ready. I wanted something that was pretty slim still, like visually, because you can get some tents that fit your bedding in there, but dang, they look ugly and they're just fat and thick, and I don't know, not a personal favorite of mine to do that. I want it to look good. I want it to be super strong and burly. I definitely want it to be lightweight as much as possible. I want to keep my bedding in there. I want the setup to be super quick and easy, and maybe have some like cool amenities and accessories. Like, I wanted all those things, and no tent out there had that in my experience. So I started looking into the Alucab stuff, and like I mentioned earlier, I've always loved Alucab products, particularly because of their awning. I've had their awning for a long time. But when I sold the GFC, I sold the Alucab awning that was with it as well, and I really missed that awning. So, enter the Alucab Gen 3R. I'm going to tell you all the cool things this tent has going for it and why I landed on it, because all those things I just mentioned about the other tents I didn't like, this thing just does so well. So let's do it. Hey guys, I hope you're digging the video so far. Real quick, I want to tell you about our channel sponsor, Onyx Offroad. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this portion of the video. Guys, get on Onyx, okay? If you want to find places like this, don't be a turkey. Just use the app. If you're traveling the country and you're unfamiliar with the area, there's a Discover feature. Click on the Discover feature. You'll see a bunch of trails near you. You'll see pictures of them, bunch of data, level of difficulty, elevation, all the info you would ever want you can see in the Discover feature. Or if you know your area very well, you can build your own route and share it with your friends, which is super cool. Also, if you become an elite member and you like shopping and buying a bunch of stuff, clearly like I do right here, you're gonna save a bunch of money with the industry discounts that are built into the elite membership. You can scroll through there and find just about any brand you've ever seen in the space. You're gonna save tons of money. I highly recommend it. Lastly, I do have a 20% discount. If you scan this QR code right here, it's gonna help me out, it's gonna help the channel out, but it's also gonna help you guys out, save some money. Everybody's gonna be happy, okay? Onyx, thank you guys so much for sponsoring the channel for this video. Hope you guys love it. Let's get back to it. All right, let's talk about this tent now. First of all, Alucab as a company has such a strong name in the industry. They've been doing it for forever. Based in South Africa, they make everything over there. Once you put your hands on one of these and like see the details and really just experience it and go camping with any of their products, you just find it out there. Like once you're using it, like, oh, they did this for that reason or whatever. And so their whole design is so intentional. That's what I didn't have the foresight on the other tents and brands that I used, is just like, oh, they should have done that, or that sucks to, you know, zip that, or blah, blah, blah. Like you find these little things that once you're actually using it, you don't realize it. But Alucab has addressed a bunch of those things. So when you get a product, you're just like, oh, it just works. What you got to consider is like the whole ecosystem. And what I mean by that is if you can get the same branded things from the same company, you're going to be better off. And I say that because this awning directly bolts to the tent. So you're not having to buy a certain brand rooftop tent with a certain brand awning with a certain brand roof rack and trying to make all those work together. You can do that, and I've done that for years, and it's fine. But when you get a system and a brand that works all together, dude, it's so nice. It just is so clean. Everything works as it should because it was designed that way. So this awning here, let me do this. This awning is bolted physically to the tent with these awesome brackets, and then back over there, like it is completely made for this tent. Extremely solid. You don't have any sort of like weird bracketry or anything you have to work up against. You know, all the little touches of how you put your awning up here, like the cinching, this extra leg, you got to pull if you need it. This is an awning video, but I'm just saying, like, it's all these little details coming together. Also, the same to be said with their shower cube, which I don't have that, but it mounts directly to the side of the tent. So if you're running this on a roof rack, you don't have to actually go into the roof rack. You don't have to mount your accessories to the rack. You just mount it to the tent. That's gangster. I absolutely love that. This tent for a clamshell actually opens really wide, like a big angle. A lot of wedge style tents are kind of a smaller angle, and I do think they say something about that on their website, about this being like maybe like a 60-ish degree or 65 or something like that, which I thought is cool. And once you get in there, you really do realize, you know, hopping from tent to tent, you see how much bigger of room you have in there. All aluminum, really nice powder coat, and this is the Gen 3R. So they used to have, I guess, maybe a Gen 3 or the Gen 2 or something like that. The previous version had diamond tread up there, and I didn't like that look, honestly, but they revised this version and they made it lighter as well than the previous version. better in every way. And you don't see it because it's not closed, but it's kind of skinnier in the front and then kind of gets a little bit fatter out the back. I think that's maybe for aerodynamics or something, maybe visuals. It's also kind of tapered in the front, but everything is just so intentional. And with it being a little bit thicker, that allows you to put your bedding in there. So you can put pillows, you can put sleeping bags, and all your bedding, dude. So the coolest thing ever, I mean, you literally pop those latches, get in the tent, and it's done. Like there's no fuss, there's nothing. And then when you want to close it, you just take those little poles out, and which are optional. You don't even have to run those. And then move that little cinch cord right there, move it up, which draws all the fabric in, and just close the tent. I mean, it's stupid easy. So I actually didn't plan of like any specifics of what to talk to in this video, because I know they'll be obvious once I point them out. So what's right in front of me is the ladder, and it's super different than any other ladder out there that I've seen with a rooftop tent. It has super wide steps. So if you've been in the tent game before, you know that these steps really hurt, like most of them, because they're super thin right here, and that just hurts your feet for whatever reason. This gives you a lot wider of a platform, and you can actually go up here with bare feet if you're camping in the beach or something like that. You know, flip-flops, whatever. It's just way better. It's so much better to use this. Plus, it's all black. Like, I've never seen like a murdered out ladder. It just looks that much better to me. Coming up here, the other cool thing about this tent is there's 2 ways to enter. You can enter on the side like this, which makes sense because I have an awning. But when I don't deploy the awning, I rather go enter out the back right here. I like it a little bit better because I can actually open the door of the canopy on both sides and not be impeding getting into the canopy or anything. But this is what I have to do with the awning. No big deal. Okay. Also, right here is a diesel heater port, which this is kind of scary, so I'm leaning over. So if I die, you're gonna get it on camera. But this is Velcro, and there's a slit in here, and you can run a diesel heater through here. I made my diesel heater a 4-inch, so it does not fit at all, but you can put that there. There's a provision there. Super cool. I don't think the other generation Alucab had that, so this is a new upgrade. Okay, another thing just in general is this material. It's super thick. I've had this in just disgusting nasty storms. It holds up great. It does not soak or anything. It kind of just piles off. Is that the word? Piles off? Does great. And the doors as well have like a super fine mosquito netting, and then they have an extra layer as well, so you can peel back that layer and just have all the air coming through or whatnot. And we'll get in and I'll show you. But while I'm on the outside, you can see this gasket, this rubber gasket all the way around. And what's cool about the construction of the tent, you see how much gap there is right here. So when you come to fold it, there's no excess fabric sticking out, adding to your setup time or anything like that. So that's just cool because it's intentional, right? It's like, dude, I'm ready to close this thing down, pull it, and let's go. Super fast. And then right here, you can see a little cord. That's actually for, let's see if I can get up here. That is for this, which is a solar cable, like, I'm blanking on the word, but if you want to route solar up here, all you do is plug it right into here. Anderson connection, that's what it is. So that's freaking awesome. You can, it's basically solar ready. You don't have to tap in or drill into your nice tent. It's just sitting there ready. And big old flat surface up here. They do make load bars and things if you want to carry boxes or anything on top of your tent. But I decided I don't want to. This truck's already tall enough. Okay, I think it's time we get inside here. Like I said, I do like to get in from the back. But this works just as well. Like I said on the doors real quick, there's 2 layers. Well, you can see it right there. You can kind of unzip that layer, let some air flow through. Super nice. Okay, in here, as you can see, I have 3 full-size pillows. I have a wool blanket, a big old comforter, Put some sheets on this mattress. And I do have some Alucab accessories as well, and we'll get into those too. But if you look at the headliner, it's quilted, super nice and just padded and insulated in here. And these doors, this fabric right here does not let any sunlight through at all. I mean, it could be like noon. You could wake up at noon and just like not even know what time it is outside. This little optional awning thing, I think it does come with the tent, but you can choose to deploy it or not. I kind of like to, just for a view. You can kind of sit here and just hang out. It's kind of fun. Mattress is like, I'm gonna say like a 7 out of 10. It's not incredible. I mean, if you get like a Hest mattress or something, that's definitely the move. But it's better than like some of the other mattresses I've used just straight out of the box. The other thing too is because this thing opens wider than normal rooftop tents, you get this little toe cavity, which is cool. So if you're, I don't know, 6'1", 6'2", I feel like you'll be able to sleep in here with your ankles up. A lot of people complain that there's just no room, like it's unusable room down here with other wedge style tents. And I do understand that your feet, you know, if you're laying on your back, your feet don't have any room there. So your tent becomes shorter basically, but I've had no issues here. I can kind of sleep way down in there and it's fine. All right, something else super cool that Alucab it just comes like this in the tent. There's a switch right here. And that switch is a light, integrated lighting, dude, all ready to go. That little mount, you can swivel it and move it at any other angle you want. But basically, there's a switch down here. So that's super cool just to have built into the tent, but it's also super user-friendly to wire your own wires. It's all ready for you. Like, you don't have to drill into the tent or anything. This comes with it. This is just some dividers and organizers, which is just nice and handy to have. I went all out and got their bamboo folding table. So look at this. So you might be thinking, okay, what's so cool about a table? Well, it gets all your stuff up and out of the way. So when you're sleeping, you're not kicking your shoes. You're not, pushing your socks way back there or whatever. You're not fumbling over crap down here. So it's up, out of the way, ready to go. You know, if you're sitting coffee, I have eaten breakfast up here, which is fun. It's just a nice table. You can do that. And you can adjust. I know maybe it doesn't look like you have a bunch of room, but this is easily about 1.5 feet of space. Depending on how you install it, you can make it go higher if you wanted to, but I think it's great for me. Dude, the table is just so awesome. It's just so handy to have. Like I said, some gear organizer, pouches, charging cords, stuff like that. Also, along with the lighting down here that's already wired, you do have, which I don't know if I can show it to you. Yeah, I can. You do have a couple USB ports, and you have this like little, almost like a little table, or like a nightstand is what I call it. So I put my phone here charging overnight. If I have any water bottles or something, I can just keep it in this little nook. So I love this because it's just otherwise unusable space, but I mean, all the way down here, you have stuff to put keys or whatever, maybe a firearm or something. Just nice and out of the way right there by your head where you can get to it. While I'm right here, I do want to mention this little thing, and it doesn't look like much, but from the top, from the outside, it goes up, and this is how you pull your tent to collapse it when you're done, you're on your way home or whatever. This stupid little piece of plastic is so nice. I know it maybe looks like, why do you have that on there or whatever, but it does come with it, and that's for good reason. And that basically keeps this shape, keeps a nice big handle where you can pull from, and it's just more comfortable because it's just bigger around. You can grip it. You know, these gas struts are pretty heavy duty. So once you pull it down, I don't know, it's just a good grip. Just man, again, all these little things just come together to make this thing feel so premium. The other thing on this fabric, and for the awning as well, is it's reflective, so the heat is gonna go out. You know, it's not gonna absorb it. One small complaint I usually have on this tent, so you can see the separation there. There's a bunch of glue, like tape or whatever, that secures some of this fabric together along with rivets. it's not going anywhere, but sometimes it kind of separates and you just have to push it back together. The glue kind of gets tired or something. Like on this right here, see that? Just some glue, but not a big deal. I always just press it back. I'm sure I could get a heat gun and kind of really work at it and get it better. But okay, my favorite part of this tent by far is this optional reclining backrest. Yes, I know, it's crazy. So if you are in here, you can make a backrest at any angle you want. It's kind of ratcheting. See if I can show you here. That's the back of it, and you can see the mechanism over there. Right there. So dude, I mean, come on. You can sit here, eat breakfast, watch a little, I don't know, something on the iPad. Again, this doesn't come with it, but it's a sweet option. And that's the other thing, is once you buy this tent, you can continue to spruce it up down the line if you want. And then to put it down, you just go all the way back up and press it back down in place. Next up, a really cool touch on this tent is the anti-condensation little mat here. So if you're new to the tent game, also it's like super thick and squishy. I don't know if you can see that, but it creates air pockets basically to prevent condensation from underneath on the back side of that aluminum. If you're new to tents, condensation is a thing. The last thing you want to do in a tent is close off all your doors. I don't care how cold it is, you still need your oxygen, your CO2 to leave the tent, because otherwise it's going to stay trapped in here and you're going to get water droplets everywhere. But with the help of that mat and with the help of the liner in here, it cuts down on that tremendously. It also adds to insulation too, because you're not absorbing all that cold from underneath. Your tent is just kind of up slightly, so very cool bonus. Speaking of condensation, there is a little pocket, like a vent up there, that you can unzip. I keep it unzipped all the time. Okay, so size, I think this sleeps 2 average adults very comfortably. 2 and a kid would be pushing it. I think 1 and a dog is great. 2 and a dog if you really love the dog. If it's kind of small, maybe medium size. But for me, for my application, this checks the box perfectly. If you need something bigger, they do have like a camper style, like a mod family camper that opens sideways, and it's gigantic. But as far as rooftop tents go, this is about the size really most out there are. Is kind of a two-person deal. After I wrap this up, I'm going to close it so you see how it closes, and we'll show the outside of what that looks all closed up and how thick it is and things like that. But as far as weight, don't quote me, man, but I think, just going off the top of my head, I think it's like 130 pounds or something like that, which for what it is not bad at all. I think they've done a great job to kind of eliminate some weight and stuff. Like I said, the previous version was maybe 30 pounds heavier. So all those things add up. And you can see kind of at the bottom here, it's got these rails of how it mounts. And they make a bunch of different cool mounting options as well, to mount kind of whatever. So on my canopy, I have some L-track, and this is mounted to the L-track. But you can see there, it's mounted on the outside and the inside. Coming to the front, it's got these nice hinges that are replaceable. That's the other thing with Alucab as a company. All their replacement parts you can get at cost, which, tell me another company you can do that. That's just so nice. I forgot to mention on the rain fly of this tent, I usually don't deploy it all the way like this, just to make things quicker, but also just because I really don't need to. But usually I keep it where you can unzip the sides here, and it basically folds down and it rolls. And if you see way up there, those 2 little straps, it Velcros basically as a roll together. So it's nice and tidy and out of the way. So yeah, if you made it this far in the video, dude, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. But those are most of what I can think of right now, the pros and cons of tents in general, and specifically why this tent outperforms all the other tents. All the other tents that I've had and ran personally, they may have 1 or 2 of these little features, but they, by far don't have all of them, and this tent has all of them. So quickest setup time, super durable, relatively lightweight for what it is. It's basically an ecosystem product, meaning you can buy a bunch of different attachments that work directly with it. It's all season. That's 5. I think I'm doing numbers right. I think that's 5 things. It's got little, like the wiring and stuff is already done for you. It's very user friendly. That's 6. But yeah, anyway, I'll shut up. It's a beautiful tent, okay? It's sweet. It's sweet. Let's put the phone on a little stand over here, and I'm gonna do a time lapse of closing everything down. And we'll do a short little outro, and I'll show you what the tent looks like closed up. All right, we're all packed up, and I want to close this video by just showing you guys what it looks like closed. You can see the kind of tapered nature of the sides there. I think the overall like tallest is maybe 11 inches, which kind of seems like a lot, but once it's tapered and everything like that, it visually doesn't look like a lot. And that essentially, that taller area allows you to put your pillows and stuff in there. But I mean, look how tough that looks. It's just such a good look. It's got a great shape. It's just so at home on the truck. Couple quick things to note on the back. This ladder mount, you can move that wherever you want. I actually had it over here, but obviously with the spare over here, I couldn't make that work, so I moved it over and just run the ladder down here, and it works just fine. I used some existing holes here for some chase lights, and man, it's just super tidy. I absolutely love this tent. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap up the video, but really quick before I let you go, I'm not trying to bash the other tents that I've used in the past or the other brands or anything like that. This is strictly just a personal experience that I'm sharing with y'all, and things that I prefer and value in a tent. So if I was told these things earlier, I would absolutely appreciate it, and instead of going through 5 different tents to finally arrive to the best one. But we're here, and my opinions and everything stands. I still think this is the best tent that I've personally ever used, but out there in the market as well. I think it checks all the boxes. Check out Alucab stuff. They make incredible products. Absolutely love them as a company. Again, just want to reiterate, I wasn't paid or anything to make this. This is completely unbiased. I bought this tent full retail price. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Later.